Night 2. We've set up, we've actually teed up with Nick and J-Dog. They've driven out to a spot, met us out here, so that's cool. We're going to see if they can get a pink. There's so much current. Let me get my words together. There's so much current that it's really only fishable at this stage with 2 rods. Tomorrow morning should be heaps better, but I think we're just going to focus on letting them try and get their pink. I've got a shark rod out with a big slab of salmon, so we'll see how that goes. It's just sort of 20 meters out, so the current doesn't rip it too much. And I'm gonna get myself some dinner, sit back and watch these boys fish. It's been a long day. I left a lot out just because it was boring 4-wheel driving and we had to really pump it to make this next spot. So, coffee, some food. Hopefully the boys catch their first each and then I'll start increasing my efforts and we'll go from there. I'll let you know if anything happens, but for now, I am munging out. Woo, it's ready. Okay, dinner is steaming away. Wild mushroom and lamb risotto. These are actually quite tasty. I've had quite a few. I've even got myself some cheeky desserts, apricot crumble and apple berry crumble. So we'll see what it brings, but I'll come back in 15 minutes and that bad boy will be ready to mung. Ooh. Finished dinner. Yum, yum, yum. Apricot crumble for dessert. We've got all these hiking foods because we were going to hike into a beach and stay there, but we decided to go somewhere easier because we weren't having much luck. I might make myself a coffee after that and watch the boys. Not much to report on. A couple of bites. But see ya when she's done. Whew, that's how still it is down here tonight. It's epic. I suppose I shouldn't overboil J-Dog's coffee. Custom coffee delivery for you, sir.
Oh, thanks, mate.
You're welcome.
Cheers, buddy.
No worries. It's fucking hot. Just be careful. So that pretty much sums up the beginning of the night. We'd made a big change of plans and a big move of location. I'm all rugged up because I was going to record this in the car, but everyone's gone to bed early, so I have permission to talk. What I'm going to do is a little bit different this round. We end up catching a few big bronzies, which if you follow my Instagram, you would have seen, Southern_surfcaster. And we use a few fighting techniques with the long rods that often raise a few eyebrows. So I thought I'd do a bit of a breakdown. We do some things right and we actually get a few things wrong. And there's a few things that I could improve, which I've noticed watching the footage back. So we'll go through that sort of clip by clip. I'll break down what's happening, what's going through my head, what we're trying to do as a team, and explain how we land these big sharks off the beach on the long South African style rods. So keep watching and we'll break it down. So unfortunately, I was halfway through munging down a juicy lamb chop, thanks to Nick, when the rod went off, so we missed the hook up. What you didn't see is me absolutely ramming the circle hooks home, and I've had, my ups and downs running circle hooks, but I've pretty much solely converted to them now. They're much friendlier on all your bycatch, and they're a lot friendlier on the sharks as well. And a YouTuber by the name of Zuluk Fishing, look him up, he does killer stuff from South Africa, suggested that my problems pulling hooks could be due to the fact that I'm not setting the hooks hard enough, and that on his channel it doesn't look like he's setting the hooks home, but he really rams them in. So I applied that technique, and so far this season we've gone 100% hook up to land ratio, or I have, and it's been really good. So now's about when I'll start to settle down into the fight, and you'll probably notice that I move the rod from the gimbal to resting on my shoulder. And basically at this stage, the rod's done its job. So it's a 15-foot rod. It's designed for casting distance. Now that I've cast it out, I've hooked the fish, I've used it to absorb the head shakes at the start of the fight. There's no point me wasting my lower back energy, especially after a couple of days camping when I'm already knackered, holding the rod up. So what we do to conserve energy on our end is rest the rod on your shoulder and then walk back up the beach to pull the fish. And then once you get it turned and moving in your direction, you can turn around, fight the fish normally, and then as soon as it's being stubborn again, back on the shoulder, walk back up the beach. Really put the hurts down. We're running quality reels. This is a Stella, and good line, and we're confident that the drag will do the job. So I'm not so worried about a head shake accidentally snapping me off. I'm just gonna send it up the beach, settle into the fight, because you never know how long it's gonna go. And let's keep watching and see what happens. I know the shark's in close here, and we're about to get to the phase where Jayden will walk out and leader the shark for me. So what I'm going to do is sort of hold position and pivot the shark in. Me and Nick talked about this a little bit as we were sort of in the mid-fight trying to decide what we were going to do, and we decided that if I anchored myself, the shark should pivot into the shore, and that would give Jayden the chance to run down and grab it by the tail and hopefully drag it up without too much trouble. And it went off fairly smoothly. He did have a couple of goes, and they're strong animals, so this is Jayden's first time, so kudos, he did a really good job. But we'll keep playing.
Yeah. Can you grab this?
Oh, fuck.
Grab the drag right off?
Yep.
Oh, fuck!
Christ.
So next step here is the unhooking, and this is probably the most important part. So you'll notice we've dragged the shark up a little bit, but it's still in the wash and it's still getting fresh water come into its gills whenever a set comes up. It's just dry enough that it's safe for us to get down in front of the shark and not have to worry about getting washed in. It's quite a steep bank there. What I'd done is get one of the boys to grab the pliers and come up the beach with us. And you'll see we make this mistake a little bit later because I get another one. But Jayden's ready to go. We come around the front of the shark, hold its nose up. It's a circle hook, so it's right in the corner of the jaw. We have a good look to see whether it's feasible to get out. And 99% of the time with a circle hook, it is. So Jayden gets in there. We get the hook out, take a quick snap while it's still wet, and then I tail it, grab it by the tail, turn it around, drag it back and release it, which you'll see right now.
Oh, it's a male, dude. I was wrong.
Oh, yeah? Big male.
Hang on, wait for it. Swing towards you. Turn.
Off he goes.
Woo! Cheers. Oh my lord.
Wow. I am wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. But no drone required. But got another big dog, Bronzie, on the cast. using an Old Faithful Horizon Double X Heavy, and my 18-year-old birthday present, Stella 20K 60-pound Taz. Smoked it in. It's, I'm stuffed. I'm not casting another bait out. Oh, the long rods are great for casting, but they do have their shortfalls on a beach with a shore break when the shark just wants to sit right there. Got some decent footage. Gonna be okay. I'll edit it down, but we kind of want to just get it over and done with and get the shark back in as quick as possible. Got some cool photos, so I'll whack them in there now. But now it's time to see if Jayden and Nick can get themselves a big pink dog. I'm just gonna chill on the chair, have a drink and relax, and we'll see if there's any more action. Peace.
No joy tonight, unfortunately. About to crawl into bed. It's around 10:30, so we're going to get up early and fish the morning bite time tomorrow. So I'm going to head to bed now, and it is freezing.
Hey, so day 2, and the boys went and did some rock exploring. My morning was very uneventful, so I did what I do best and went back to camp, chopped up a heap of salmon and threw a big chunk out, and within 5 minutes we were on. And again, we weren't expecting anything to happen so quickly, so we missed the takeoff. You'll hear Will make a bit of a comment about it, and then I'll run you through this fight as well, because some interesting things happen, and this is a completely different ball game to the shark from the night before. Let's see what happens.
I wish I got him just falling down the beach.
Yeah, back it up. Oh, this is a smart one, eh?
So that comment right there, this is a smart one. I'm a firm believer that these sharks have dealt with us before. This one in particular knew exactly what to do, and you seem to get like different sharks with different personalities, and it's really interesting to fight them. Actually, I quite enjoy it. This one was thinking on a whole nother level. It used strategy. It tried to cut me off on reef. It hung in the current. It was definitely trying to break my will, and it was cheeky about it too. So when I'm dealing with a fish like this, it's important that we start to think on a strategic level as well, because you don't want to be dealing with these things for hours. It's not fair on them, and it's not fair on my lower back and my poor fishing gear. So you'll see we make a few calls up ahead after we sort of settle into the fight and do a few things differently to what we did the night before, just to make sure that this big girl actually came in. I hate losing sharks. I hate leaving wire traces in mouths, and we do the best we can, and it happens very, very occasionally. Luckily this year, like I said, I'm 100% rate for getting the hook back, number 1, and landing the shark, number 2. So yeah, it's good to do these things safely. I don't think shark fishing in our country, Australia, or at least in Western Australia, is going to be legal for much longer. There's too many guys out there, either through lack of education or just being wallies, doing the wrong thing. So if I can help you guys out with a few tips here, then that's awesome, and hopefully we get to fish for them a little longer. So let's keep watching, and I'll break down sort of the different stages of the fight, and you'll get to see me get tortured by this shark, because I believe the fight went for just a little over 45 minutes in total. I have obviously cut it down, but yeah, it was a good one, and it was a good shark too. So let's continue.
I don't want to film. Oh!
So the shark actually jumps 3 times, and there's some guys up the beach that commented on it. The first one was more of a breach, and then the second 2, it sort of came out of the water. It was pretty cool. Didn't fully clear, but for a bronzie, that's pretty specky. And then it headed into a current, and it would just chug back and forward in this big rip. It would let me pull it in, and then it would ride the current out. So basically the whole time it was getting fresh water pumped through its gills for very little effort on its behalf, and a lot of effort on my behalf. So you'll see the jumper comes off, I look a lot more fatigued, and the rod goes over the shoulder again, and we start walking up and down the beach.
Is that a 100-pound Taz?
60.
Oh, fuck. Is that gimbal hurting you, Ryan?
Nah.
All right.
Shark is though. This is a fresh Ryan job, not a... Yeah. I can just feel the tail pulse, hey?
All right, you can see here, this is a little unorthodox, but you notice that during that section of the fight, my back's still up nice and straight. I'm still holding a good angle to the rod, but my right arm was giving me some jip. It was super fatigued from last night, reeling in the other shark. And I just felt like I was losing a bit of grip strength, so I'm constantly shaking it to get the lactic acid out. And I found trying to walk back, holding the rod with my right hand on the foregrip, wasn't working for me, so I had to hold the top with my left and then actually reach around and grab the spool, and this was heaps more comfortable. It looks ridiculous, and it was a little bit ridiculous, to be honest, but it did the job for me, and I was able to put on that little bit of extra pressure needed just to arc the shark towards the sandbank that you can see at the back. Now, I think we're about 15 minutes in at this point, and I'm about to make the decision to let the shark run out and try and get it behind the sandbar that you can see in this clip and moving into the surf zone to the right. So I chatted to Nick, who was being cameraman, legend, for this whole time about this, and we decided that there was no moving the shark into the rip and against the current without it turning and me not being able to stop it. So the smartest play would be to let it run out with the current and then run along the beach horizontally and pull the shark into the surf zone where it didn't want to be, and it would have to make a decision whether it was going to get pounded by the waves or come over the bank into the gutter close to shore. And it would be at that stage that I would put the brakes on, and we would try and get it to arc in, same as the night before. I would anchor myself in one position, put the hurt down, and basically arc the shark onto the bank where Will could wait and grab it.
Well, at the worst, we could potentially move from here, right? Yeah, that's probably right. We go east coast direction. Oh, it's
Yeah,
about the
true.
pliers.
Okay, so that was Nick, who's jumped in front of the camera for a second for moral support. We was actually taken over. He made the comment, we should get Jayden to grab the pliers. Now, Jayden's gone to get me some water, but we, in the spur of the moment, had completely forgotten to grab cutters, which is number one part of my shark kit, and pliers to remove the hook. So that's our bad. I'm always big on making sure we try and get these things back as soon as possible, and even we make mistakes. So I'll be getting a belt that I can actually put my pliers on and my cutters on and a knife on, and that will attach to my gimbal, and that won't be happening again. So let's keep rolling. I think we're at about the 20-minute mark, maybe a little bit further. So it sort of stalemates a bit here as I try and get it to come over the bank, but you can see we've moved along into the surf zone, and I'm just working on convincing the shark not to just eat waves and to come over the bank and jump into that deep gutter in the front, and then we'll stay and wait for a little bit more, and then we'll go and wrestle it. And as you can see, it worked all right. Took a couple of goes, but Will is an absolute weapon, and he just rolls out there, grabs this thing and drags it up.
Oh, go, Will, go.
Absolute madman. Oh, that dang.
Holy!
Yes.
Whoa, yes! They don't got the pliers coming. They're thinking it would. Out of the front. Can you cut it if you need to? You should be able to get it out, eh? It's almost out, yeah. Phew!
Not the best pliers, but
That's right. That's true.
I'll take them if you want to kick him a hand.
Go on, Channel.
All yours, Riser.
Come on, mate.
Big dog.
Yes!
He's battle scarred up too.
Right. Oh,
Good job, brother.
you can.
All right, so there you go. You saw Will walk out in the water, secure the shark by the tail. It's as tired as I am at this point, so there's not really much danger with that. We're running a single circle hook, so no chance of Will getting a hook in him if the shark thrashes and he ends up near the head end. So he's out there, he grabs, commits, and we pull the shark up, leave it in the wash zone, but again, dry enough so that we can safely remove the hook. The boys look down, perfect corner of the mouth, hook comes out, and we take a few quick snaps, wait for the next wave, and you can see me take the shark out, let the wave come in, pick the weight of the shark up, pull, and then as the wave starts to pull out, you can pull to one side and let the shark swing, and the wave and the water will actually do that for you. The shark will swing around and then give it a push, and then next wave coming in will pick the shark up and it will generally go off itself. And sometimes you need to give them a little bit of extra love. I probably should have pulled it a little bit further out, but I thought I was close enough to that drop off. I wasn't. The next wave comes in, picks it up. I make sure she swims off strong, and away she goes. So that pretty much summed up our trip. Not exactly everything went to plan, but we made the most of a very tough fishing situation, young Will and I, and thanks to Jayden and Nick coming out, we actually managed to land those 2 sharks, which was really, really fun. Yeah, so I thought I'd do a voiceover because, like, there's not really anything educational in the video. It's just sort of me reeling in a shark, and a lot of you guys like to sort of hear the strategy and the techniques that we use, so I thought I'd just fill you in on that. If you like that sort of style, let me know and I'll continue to do it in future videos. But give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.